Again, this is our fundraising time of the month. We have to raise $1,200 no later than Monday. I've got extra time, so that was so by Mondays when we have to have that. So please get your contributions in. Let's try to get some in this week, at least by Friday, so we're not scrambling at the last minute. And I'm worried about if I'm going to be on the street, we're going to go under and all that stuff. Okay, Dayglow76 at yahoo.com on PayPal. Reeves Radio, all lowercase, one word, Reeves Radio on the Cash App. And now on Venmo as well. It's capital J Josh dash capital R Reeves dash 61 on Venmo. And all you can do is just buy downloads, and you can buy a bunch. Do that. All right? Thank you, guys. Man. Oh, you know what I saw? Guess what I saw last night after I got done doing that show last night, talking about the Shaft Cloud thing. I saw the trailer for the new Ghostbusters movie that's coming out. It's called Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And I guess this is the follow-up to the last one, Ghostbusters Afterlife they put out, which, I thought was alright. It wasn't bad. I only watched it once. Probably will never watch it again. Which, for me, that's an indicator of how much I like it. I mean, like I said, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. But it wasn't one of those movies where I felt like I wanted or needed to ever watch it again after I watched it once. You know what I mean? And for me, it's always been, I don't know, a sign that a movie's really good. It's how many times I watch it, and I never get tired of how many times I watch it. I mean, my God, how many times have I watched Goodfellas? 2,000? How many times have I watched Godfather 1 and 2? 3,000? How many times have I watched the first Ghostbusters? Yeah, I mean, I saw it at the movies when it came out. When, what was it, 1984, 85? I was in elementary school. I saw Ghostbusters at the theater when it came out. The first one, I could watch that right now. I could watch the first one right now. Oh my God, but that woman version they came out with, holy fucking shit. Bury that motherfucker in a graveyard somewhere. I just thinking about it off the top of my head, I can't really think of too many films I've ever seen they're as bad as that woman Ghostbusters movie, because that was one of the worst goddamn pieces of shit I've ever seen in my life. What fucking woke asshole thought that was a fucking good idea and greenlit that? I don't know. It could have been good. With a completely different cast and completely different writers. Theoretically, it could have been okay. The idea of all women Ghostbusters is not a bad idea, but to have that cast and that was directed like Paul Haggis or something like that. Guy's a fucking woke retard. Yeah, Kristen Wiig, she's the fucking worst. Thank God. I at least got to give Hollywood a little credit for that one. At least Hollywood has had the fucking sense enough to quit putting that fucking worthless ass bitch in anything. She is the worst. If I see Kristen Wiig is in something, I don't care if it's a movie I really want to see. I can't think of anything she's ever been in I really wanted to see, but I'm just saying, theoretically, if it was a movie I really wanted to see, you could have every actor I ever liked in it. He could have the best writers, the best director. If Kristen Wiig's in it, I won't watch it. She is the fucking worst. Whose fucking dicks did that bitch suck to get fucking famous in Hollywood? She must have sucked fucking Epstein's dick and fucking Weinstein's dick and fucking every Stein's dick in fucking Hollywood. She must have went back and fucking sucked Louis DeMayer, or what was that guy's name? Louis B. Mayer, one of those old guys from founded Hollywood and stuff. Guy Metro Goldwyn Mayer. She must have went and sucked their dicks from the grave or something. Jesus Christ, she is the worst. Not funny, not talented, not hot. Not that that's a requisite, but I'm just saying, she has nothing going for her. She's the worst. And Leslie Jones and, I don't know. That was just the worst piece of shit. But anyway, saw this trailer for this new Ghostbusters that's coming out. I guess it's coming out this year. I don't know. Frozen Empire. Guess what one of the main plot points of this film is, guys? a new ice age. Yeah, I'm starting to think they're starting to try to push that narrative now, because they know that the word is out on the planet's getting hotter, and it's not getting hotter because, or just strictly because of anthropogenic global warming and all of that stuff. I think they're really starting, because like I told you just last weekend on Coast to Coast AM, they had some CBS News guy on there, and he was pushing this bullshit. It's complete bullshit. It's not based on anything. Believe me, guys, I've studied this shit. I've researched this shit. I have been for a long time. I've been following this sun stuff and the sun cycle stuff and been looking at this for 14 years. I think it was 2009, 2010 was when I started. I made that Reality of Illusion Series 1 mini documentary called The Secrets of the Sun. They've known about these things, and they've known about climatic, extinction events and stuff that have happened. The ancients knew about it. That's related to the sun. That's one of the things they've been hiding from us for years. And like I said, it's, and I talk about that in the new film, Whether or Not Skies of Lies, and I talked about it in my film, the Club of Rome film, Climate of Fear, that I put out last year. In 1978, actual scientists were saying we were heading into a new ice age. And then 2 years later, I think it's in the movie, I can't remember if it was Walter Cronkite or one of those guys. 2 years later, in 1980, they're in the news, and now they're fear-mongering, not talking about it. They dropped the new ice age thing like a bad habit, and all of a sudden they're talking about this new phenomenon called the greenhouse effect. And the planet's going to be getting warmer and hotter, and then soon after that, which when we have the proliferation of aerosol spraying and all this stuff going on. I absolutely believe, I'm convinced, there's no question about it, that the original intent of chemtrails and all that, they were trying to warm the planet. But then after that subsided, and I mean, they know that for a fact the planet's gone through deep cooling periods, ice ages, and intense warming periods, cyclically since time immemorial. Probably longer than humans have been here. It's the days of the dinosaurs, probably before that even. It's just the natural cycles of life because of how it mostly has to do with the sun, but it's just part of the natural cycles. I think that once they started heating the planet and the ice age conditions subsided and it started just naturally because of cycles getting warmer again, that combined with the artificial planet warming they were doing by creating the greenhouse, that's what chaff and chemtrails and all that stuff does. It creates a greenhouse effect. But it can also create an effect that can cool the planet. It just seems odd to me. I mean, Coast to Coast AM has a CBS News guy on over the weekend, and he's saying we're heading into a solar minimum, and we're heading into a new ice age. We just came out of a solar minimum, dum-dum. We're not heading into one. All the scientists agree we're heading into the solar maximum. It's not even an agreement. They know for a fact because of the cycles. We're heading into a solar maximum in 2025. However, it started 2 years earlier, last year in 2023. That's why all the top scientists have reported that 2023 was the hottest year on Earth on record, and they have no idea why the solar maximum started 2 years early. We're not heading into a new ice age. Whoever that fucking Disinfo shill clown was on the Disinfo shill clown Coast to Coast AM show, clearly, and now this new Ghostbusters movie where they're, a new ice age is a part of the plot point, clearly they're trying to push that. Now, I can't quite put my finger on an exact reason why, but you can bet that if they're trying to push it, it's bullshit, because if it was really true and really happening, they wouldn't be talking about it at all. They'd just fucking obfuscate and lie and hide it and keep it a secret from us like they always do everything else, just like they did previously. So, no. This idea we're heading into a new ice age right now, we just came out of a solar minimum. We're heading into, and we're now into the most active solar cycle that Earth has experienced in who knows how long. But somehow they're trying to create a counter narrative or a counter belief, because I think more people have woken up to the fact now that there's natural cooling and heating cycles with the sun and earth and stuff, and that I think they're doing that because they're trying to negate the information that's out there now of people saying, listen, they can talk global warming all they want. Yeah, global warming is happening. Yes, it does happen. But to strictly put it at the feet of human activities on Earth exclusively, and not include the data of solar cycles and solar maximums and how we're heading, we're coming out, the sun is coming out of one of its most dormant periods in a long time. That's why we had the ice apocalypse shit in 2021 and all that. When all that happened, we were in a solar minimum. That's why 2023 was the hottest year on record on Earth. But yet they still just want to blame that on, that's your gas guzzler SUV, that's, that's burning coal, that's human stuff. No, it's the sun. It's always the sun. The sun is the 100% major driver of climate change on Earth, period, end of story. That's not to say, again, I always want to make sure I'm clear on this. It's not to say that we aren't polluting the planet. That's not to say we aren't adding carbon into the atmosphere. But, however, the real question is, how much of that was done intentionally to warm the planet due to the ice age conditions that were coming in? Because that was what their target was. In the late 1970s, 78, they were talking about like the end of the 20th century. So we're talking like 1990s, late 90s, early 2000s, and that's when they were predicting the new ice age was going to begin. But guess what really began and took off during that time? Chemtrail activity. That's when the craziest chemtrails and the pictures that you first start seeing online. That's one of the things I'm proud of my new film, is that usually when I'm putting together a film, I'm having to spend a lot of time, collecting photographs and stuff for the film. Guess how much time I had to spend collecting photographs for this new movie? 0, because I already had those were all my pictures. I already had all those pictures. I didn't have to go collect any off the web for this movie. I already had all of those. I didn't even get close to putting all the chemtrail photos that I have and I've taken through the years in this movie. And there's so many. I put at the end of the movie, there's a sort of a compilation of a bunch of them, and I put it to the soundtrack of my Pink Floyd cover that I did for the movie Obscured by Clouds. I played it on the show a couple of shows ago. But it's just they're somehow now for some reason. Is that what they're going to do? I mean, I don't know what else to think. Are they going to continue to push this climate change and agenda and all this stuff, and then when nothing happens and none of the doom and gloom scenarios they've talked about occur, are they going to say, well, we got lucky, yes, humans are destroying the planet with climate change and carbon emissions and all of this, and yes, we still need electric cars and all this stuff, but we dodged a bullet because we entered into a global a solar minimum, and we entered into a new ice age. It just didn't affect us on Earth because the planet was already so hot from man-made global warming that we were able to avoid and negate the effects of an ice age because we fucked the planet up so much with man-made activities and carbon and all this stuff, emissions. So the ice age didn't even affect us. So, you dodged a bullet, humans. Yes, you still caused global warming, but because you caused it, it also allowed us to not go into an ice age and become an ice ball for X amount of years. Is that what they're going to do? Because, I mean, at this point, I don't know what else they're going to do. It seems like that's what they're going to do. They're going to try and still push the climate agenda, but they're going to say, well, you know, we got lucky. You dodged a bullet on that one, humans. It feels like that's really, because why all of a sudden are they pushing this ice age agenda in the media and in movies when that's the farthest thing from the truth? When the scientists, the scientists who aren't even on board with man-made global warming, so when they're talking about, you know, the solar maximum that's set to begin in 2025, which even some scientists have said we could get coronal mass ejections that could wipe out the planet. I cover that in my film, Maximum 25. But why other reason would they be trying to push this? We're heading into a... I mean, any scientists, they all know, 2023 was the hottest year on record. And of course, they'll try to use that and say, well, it's because man-made climate change, that's why. And then the top scientists say, no, the solar maximum started 2 years early. And we have no idea why. That's nothing to do with man's activity on the planet. That's 100% to do only with the sun. So the sun is doing things and behaving in ways that are unexpected. And like I said for a long time, I think worst case scenario as far as the sun goes, I think it's possible that the sun is using its fuel quicker than, because we've been told that the sun has millions, maybe even billions of years left. And I'm telling you guys, what I've witnessed over the past few years, especially early in the morning as the sun is rising, because I'm often, I oftentimes don't go to bed until after the sun comes up, because I'll be up all night into the early morning hours working. And the past several years, it's been a year or two since I've seen it, but a couple of years ago I was seeing it a lot, every morning. The sun was doing this pulsing thing. And you can look that up. That's 100% verified. When they start to see stars that are pulsing, that's only one thing. That means that star is entering the final stages of its life.